How waking up at 4 a.m. and journaling changed my life. Hello all, if it's your first time joining the channel, my name is Tonisha. I don't really have many videos where I introduce myself, but I do have shorts. I want to spend some time talking today about how waking up at 4 o'clock and journaling straight out of sleep changed my life. It really started all by accident. I'm going to be very honest. I wasn't waking up at 4 a.m. to begin with because obviously I want some sleep. And I'm a 9-to-5 girly, so I wanted to get as much sleep as I possibly could. But I started doing this thing. I started reading this book. It's called The Artist's Way. And the book calls us to wake up in the morning, and before we do anything else, we're required to write our morning pages, which consist of 3 full pages in length. I like to go to the gym. I like to get things done in the morning. I had just started to rev myself up enough to go to the gym in the morning. So I wanted to fit everything in. That required me to wake up a little bit earlier. And I had been watching these videos where girls are waking up at 5 a.m. and 4 a.m. and stuff like that. And I always told myself in my mind, I'm not getting up at 4 a.m. That's just crazy. It's too early. I need sleep. I'm going to be tired. As this journey went on and I was finding I didn't have room enough to write in my journal and then go to the gym, I was like, okay, let me wake up at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock should be good. It should leave me room. And I was like, okay, yeah, 5 o'clock is good. But if I wake up earlier, 4:30, I should be fine. I should be able to write my pages and still have enough room to where I'm not rushing to get to the gym, have a good workout and come back home, shower, eat, and then go to work. And then I was reading up on stuff about how 4 a.m. is the spiritual hour. It's right in between the wake and dream world. So technically you can program your mind in those hours from hours 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. Even if you move back to 3:30 a.m. to 5 a.m., you can reprogram your mind with ease because your mind is not quite awakened enough to be able to filter things or go against things or bring in those limiting beliefs that you would have in those hours. So I was very curious about that. And then, of course, I was watching girls on YouTube that were already doing it, that were already waking up to go to the gym and having this amazing routine. And some girls, they didn't even go to the gym in the morning. They just were getting up early to do things like creating time for special things that they wanted to do or just having time for themselves or just to be able to sit and have their morning coffee. This created so much change for me. So right when I get out of bed, I come to this desk and I write in this book. And this book it's a journal, literally a journal. And these are pages. If you can see all my writing, it's color coded. It's so much writing. But I would do that. I do that. I'm still on the journey. I'm approaching week 7 of this journey. So I'm excited to see what comes of it. I started to notice that when I was writing, I was allowing my mind to stop tightening itself, and I was just allowing my free flow to just go. I was just writing. I didn't care. Sometimes I would write, literally, I write every day with just one eye open because I'd be like, oh my gosh, it's so early. In the pages of me writing things down, I uncovered things that I wouldn't normally have because I'm not trying to be politically correct, if that makes sense. I'm not trying to monitor myself, or I'm not trying to reach or dig, or I'm not trying to force it. I'm simply just allowing things to flow from my mind to the page. This looks so uncreative. It's literally one of those things where it could be, oh yeah, I thought about this morning. Oh, my dream. Oh, that's another thing. I started to remember my dreams. I wasn't trying to remember them. I would just write them down. And I noticed that I was writing down my dream in full detail because obviously, like I said, I was in between the dream world and the waking world. So it was more easier for me to recall my dreams. Some of them are significant. Some of them still are kind of scrambling, but I digress. I noticed that things were coming up for me, from childhood, things that I didn't even know that were associated with things that I was going through today. And I know that we all know that there's things that we go through that are reasons as to why we are the way that we are today, and we can pinpoint it and we can recite it, but then there seems like there's no change. There is probably something completely different that you've been through that is the reason why you're going through what you're going through, but you don't know because you kind of hidden it in yourself. It's kind of hidden in the dream world, so to speak. So I noticed that I was writing out things and allowing myself to feel. I remember one day I was writing and I just broke out after I got through writing in tears. I was crying, I was bawling, and it felt good to release and to admit it to myself. And I have been an adamant journaler forever. Like, I have been journaling since I was a girl. And I feel as though I've always been kind of politically correct, but this style of writing where it's so early in the morning and I'm just writing everything down, the first thing that comes to my mind, has been a game changer. I also noticed that in writing, I'm able to change my beliefs. So I noticed that a lot of the times my brain will be sort of like anchored to think about something. And because it only sees something that way, it will in turn look for things that will make it right. So like the thing of I'm not chosen, right? That was one of the biggest things in my repertoire, like in my brain circulating that I wasn't chosen. So my brain was picking up instances in which I wasn't chosen. I wasn't being picked. I wasn't being loved. I wasn't being nurtured and all that other stuff. And once I started to really dive deeply into my morning pages, I realized that that was a belief that my mind was anchoring to, and I was able to like switch it and change it. So instead of me looking for proof or anchoring my mind to go out into the world and look for proof as to why I'm not chosen, I would say I am chosen, and I would present proof. So I would allow my mind to ruminate on the proof that I was chosen, all the way back from childhood, from me being a little girl, to me being in adolescence, to me being a young woman, to me being the woman that I am now. I allow my mind to go and look for proof. And I've noticed that in my life, I am now currently showing up as chosen. So I am being chosen left and right. So with me doing that, I noticed, okay, well, if I start waking up a little bit earlier than 4:30, maybe I can write these morning pages and I can meditate and I can think about things or ask my brain the question and then allow it to find the proof of it, because the brain is always working. It's always calculating. It's always going out into the world to seek different things and to prove itself right. So if I can sort of get my mind to ask it a question of the day and then allow it to go do its thing to find reasons as to why it can prove itself right, then I win. And I also noticed that things were starting to shed for me. So how I chose to show up in the world changed. So instead of me showing up in the typical beige, in the typical black, or dressing a certain way to match the environment, I started showing up the way that I wanted to show up. So typically I wouldn't wear something like this going to work. I wouldn't wear heels going to work. I wouldn't do my hair out like this going to work. I would put it up in a ponytail and going about my business. I now show up. I get up in the morning. I do my makeup every single day. I do facials. I take care of my skin. I find outfits that are flattering to my body. I am more soft. Just everything that I couldn't have imagined were hidden in the hours of 4 to 5 a.m., in which has been a game changer. I also have been simultaneously reading my Bible, the 365-day Bible, and I'll listen to it, like as I have it on my tablet, I'll listen to it instead of like reading it. I'll listen to it and I'll see it in my mind. And my relationship to the Creator has changed, like to God has completely morphed. I now see God as something completely different. Not to say that I'm like, I know there is a God, I don't want to explain it past that, but my relationship with God has morphed. I'm connected to God. I love God. God loves me. And I'm seeing the scriptures come alive, and I'm seeing the true meaning of the scriptures as I feel that God intended for us to see it. And that has been a complete and utter game changer. And there's so many other things, like, for example, my apartment has been very different. Like, I've rearranged and changed, and like it's been a complete 360 up in here. And it's kind of like shocking to wake up and see my apartment like this is what I am. And this is what I'm living. And one final thing I think that I really noticed that was huge for me was it was a spiritual awakening. Like, I woke up in the midst of these pages, and I didn't know that I woke up until it dawned on me, right? So I was like trying to decorate my apartment to create sort of like a creative flow, something that spoke to my essence, as opposed to doing what all the girls were doing online, the tan couch, the super neat apartment that no one looks like they lived there, the lack of color. I noticed that I wanted to do something different that spoke more to the essence of who I am, the different colors and, all of that good stuff. I would go into the store to go buy stuff, or I would think, oh, I want to go get this. And then I would go searching in my apartment just to clean out stuff. And I would realize, like, oh my gosh, I bought this. Like, I have this. It was like I was waking up and I didn't know where I was. It was like I got dropped off in somebody's life and I got to pick up where they left off. It's been also so much easier to find gratitude in my daily life and to see color more vibrantly. I know that when they say you have a spiritual awakening, that you see color more vibrantly, and I noticed that for myself. I noticed that I see color and I see everything more vibrantly, smells and food, and I'm finding just enjoyment in the small things. And I feel like I did that because I woke up early to really get everything out, something that couldn't happen for me around 8 a.m. because I was just ready to go and my mind was just ready to go and it was focused on getting up and going. So I couldn't create the space enough to give myself time to like chill and then write it all out. But there's more to talk about as far as this journey is concerned. I'm definitely gonna make more videos, but I wanted to just come on camera and just talk about that and also sort of introduce myself. Again, my name is Tonisha, and I do hope that you enjoyed this video, and I do hope that you can join me again as I continue to talk about my 4 a.m. journey, and I hope that you can catch the wave and start to wake up early too, so that you can see the difference in your life. But until next time.